the Beale Papers, containing authentic statements regarding the treasure buried in 1819 and 1821, near Whifford, in Bedford County, Virginia, and which has never been recovered. Lynchburg, Virginia, and Book and Job Print 1885. Entered according to Act of Congress, in the year 1885, by J.B. Ward, in the office of the Librarian of Congress, at Washington. The following details of an incident that happened many years ago, but which has lost none of its interest on that account, are now given to the public for the first time. Until now, for reasons which will be apparent to everyone, all knowledge of this affair was confined to a very limited circle, to the writer's immediate family, and to one old and valued friend, upon whose discretion he could always rely, nor was it ever intended that it should travel beyond that circle. But circumstances over which he has no control, pecuniary embarrassments of a pressing character, and duty to a dependent family requiring his undivided attention, force him to abandon a task to which he has devoted the best years of his life, but which seems as far from accomplishment as at the start. He is, therefore, compelled, however unwillingly, to relinquish to others the elucidation of the Beale Papers, not doubting that of the many who will give the subject attention, someone, through fortune or accident, will speedily solve their mystery and secure the prize which has eluded him. It can be readily imagined that this course was not determined upon all at once. Regardless of the entreaties of his family and the persistent advice of his friend, who were formerly as sanguine as himself, he stubbornly continued his investigations, until absolute want stared him in the face and forced him to yield to their persuasions. Having now lost all hope of benefit from this source himself, he is not unwilling that others may receive it, and only hopes that the prize may fall to some poor, but honest man, who will use his discovery not solely for the promotion of his own enjoyment, but for the welfare of others. Until the writer lost all hope of ultimate success, he toiled faithfully at his work. Unlike any other pursuit with practical and natural results, a charm attended it, independent of the ultimate benefit he expected, and the possibility of success lent an interest and excitement to the work not to be resisted. It would be difficult to portray the delight he experienced when accident revealed to him the explanation of the paper marked, too. Unmeaning, as this had hitherto been, it was now fully explained, and no difficulty was apprehended in mastering the others. But this accident, affording so much pleasure at the time, was a most unfortunate one for him, as it induced him to neglect family, friends, and all legitimate pursuits for what has proved, so far, a veriest delusion. It will be seen by a perusal of Mr. Beale's letter to Mr. Morris that he promised, under certain contingencies, such as failure to see or communicate with him in a given time, to furnishing a key by which the papers would be fully explained. As the failure to do either actually occurred, and the promised explanation has never been received, it may possibly remain in the hands of some relative or friend of Beale's, or some other person engaged in the enterprise with him. That they would attach no importance to a seemingly unintelligible writing seems quite natural, but their attention being called to them by the publication of this narrative, may result in eventually bringing to light the missing paper. Mr. Beale, who deposited with Mr. Morris the papers which form the subject of this history, is described as being a gentleman well educated, evidently of good family, and with popular manners. What motives could have influenced him and so many others to risk their health and their lives in such an undertaking, except the natural love of daring adventure, with its consequent excitement, we can only conjecture. We may suppose, and indeed we have his word for so doing, that they were infatuated with the dangers, and with the wild and roving character of their lives, the charms of which lured them farther and farther from civilization, until their lives were sacrificed to their temerity. This was the opinion of Mr. Morris, and in this way only can we account for the fact that the treasure for which they sacrificed so much, constituting almost fabulous wealth, lies abandoned and unclaimed for more than half a century. Should any of my readers be more fortunate than myself in discovering its place of concealment, I shall not only rejoice with them, but feel that I have at least accomplished something in contributing to the happiness of others.